Hi, Chris Westwood here, back with another bike review. This time we're looking at the Stevens Carbon Cross 105. This bike combines the Stevens Team Carbon Cross frame with a mix of value-priced components to keep the total cost of the bike down. It's intended for riders who want a good, solid cyclocross racing bike without forking over all the cash you need for a full-bore racing machine. I've been riding this bike for a couple weeks now, and here are my impressions so far. First off, I think Stevens went about this the right way. They started off with a proper racing frame as a solid foundation to build on. The Team Carbon is light, it's strong, it's stiff, it has good geometry. I did find it was a little slow to turn into corners, but I quickly got used to that. It's also got a horizontal top tube. Stevens didn't succumb to temptation by making a sloping geometry frame. The horizontal top tube gives it a bigger main triangle and makes the bike easier to shoulder. The other great thing about a carbon frame is just how well it absorbs vibrations. There's a noticeable difference riding this frame on bumpy ground compared to riding an aluminum or even a steel bike. The bike also has good mud clearance, and the monocoque carbon construction means that there's no nooks and crannies for mud to build up in. Now, to keep costs down, Stevens went with a mix of components, starting off with a Shimano 105 shift levers and derailleurs. And these shift just as well as Dura-Ace and Ultegra, although they are a little bit heavier. The crank is an FSA Gossamer compact crank. Now, that's a great choice because it means you can run a smaller inner chainring, in this case a 36. They did put a 46-tooth outer chainring on, which I think is a little bit of a big jump. I would have preferred a 44 or even a 42 just to keep the gear ratios a little bit closer together. The brakes are made by Oxygen, and they work surprisingly well with a nice snappy feel and good brake pad compounds too. The other parts are a mix of Stevens house brand Scorpo for the bar, stem and seat post, and an Oxygen saddle. As for the wheels, they're a Fulcrum Cyclocross specific model. These are great for training, although I think they might be a little on the heavy side if you're really serious about racing. But in that case, you're going to be wanting to invest in a set of lighter tubular wheels in any case. Now, I did have a couple of minor personal issues with this bike. I'm not a big fan of the secondary brake levers. I find they tend to make you lazy. You tend to sit on the tops of the handlebars too much, and that slows you down when you want to sprint out of corners. I also found that the 1128 cassette was a little bit of overkill. I would have preferred a 1225, which gives you closer gear ratios, and the 3625 is a sufficiently low gear to get up most hills. But all round, this is a fantastic bike for the money, an excellent foundation to build on, and I would heartily recommend this to anyone who wants to get into cyclocross racing. For the Cyclery.ca, I'm Chris Westwood.